who may just be tuning in. So okay.
Hello, welcome everybody. How are you all today? We are now streaming on multiple platforms. This is Neil with Portal to Ascension, joined here with an amazingly beautiful panel of people. And let me go ahead and make a gallery view for you so you can see everyone's faces. And I am also joined with my tri-hosts for this conference, Alan Steinfeld and Sheila Seppi. We've just gone on day 2, another 8 to 9 hours of amazing awareness, paradigm shifting awareness, really designed to uplift us from many different facets in order to make us realize our true potential and who we really are, so that we can make some real change and shifts on this planet and create the harmony that we are creating right now in this moment. So I'm going to go ahead and just hand it over to Sheila. And do you want to start by introducing everyone on the panel?
Yes.
Absolutely. Great. So for those of you who are just joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so excited. This is kind of our wrap up and countdown of the beautiful conference that we've been having. It is a walk-in conference, an indigo conference, but it's so much more. We have talked about conscious expansion. We have had activations that's helping to clear, to anchor, to balance us. We've been talking about what we can do for the upcoming year. And I think this panel is such a beautiful way to wrap all of that up. So we have just had the privilege of hearing from Miss Stephanie Lodge. Stephanie is with the AngelicAcademy.com. Maybe you can share just a little bit more about yourself in a moment. I'm just going to kind of hit the highlights with everyone, and then we can come back to you. We have Dr. Richard Horowitz with us. He is an author, and I'm sure that you can tell us all about your book here in a moment. We have Bridget Renee Holliday. Bridget has been talking with us about walk-in starseed integration processes. Some of you may know her from Clubhouse. We have Jason Addison Ames, and Jason gave us a beautiful, beautiful presentations about walk-ins and brought through his team that he channels, and that was such a beautiful, beautiful messages that you had for us. We have William Linville back with us, and William has been able to transcend all of those lower levels that we go through with our human process, and is available to help other people do so. We have Devi Grace with us, and Devi is so many things, but I'm going to say that she is a conduit channel for the earth, for the angelic realms. She's kind of bringing and anchoring some heaven right here on earth. Then we have Zoe Pennant, and Zoe, known as Sage Oneness, gave us a beautiful opening this morning, brought through and channeled in the group that she works with to give us some really uplifting messages. She's a spiritual teacher, and hopefully what we can do is have everyone go around, share your websites, give just a real quick history about yourself, share your websites, because I'm sure individuals are going to want to reach out and contact you. So let's start back up at the top again, because I want to mention Alan Steinfeld with New Realities. I think everyone knows Alan. He's been blazing the trail for all of us to follow in. And then we have Neil Gar, of course, founder of Portal to Ascension, who is also creating beautiful pathways for additional conscious evolution. So thanks to everyone.
And for people who don't know, Sheila Seppi is real brainchild behind this whole conference. It was her vision, and she's brought this into manifestation because of her direct contact with these higher realms. So just wanted to acknowledge you too, Sheila.
Thank you. Thank you. I did want to mention before we start back with Stephanie that as a result of last year's walk-in conference, the WISH Alliance came into being, and the WISH stands for Walk-ins, Indigos, Starseeds, and Hybrids. And of course, a lot of times walk-ins are angelic beings. They're dimensional beings. They're source beings. They come from other dimensions. And so there's a lot involved with the WISH Alliance. So please visit our website at wishalliance.org. If you have not already signed up, please do so. There's a contact page on the events section. On Mondays and Thursdays, we offer at no charge. We have different meetings, and we're always bringing in wonderful speakers. Actually, this Thursday, we have Neil coming to talk with us, and you're going to be talking about the history of hybrids, I believe. So I'm really excited to hear that. So everybody, please join us, and you can get all those juicy details on wishalliance.org. So now let me go ahead and go back to Miss Stephanie.
So hi, everybody. If you're just joining us, thank you for being here. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Alan. I'm just really grateful to be here and supporting this beautiful conference. You can find me at angelicacademy.com. I am an angelic ascension advisor. I'm also a Magdalene mystic. I've been called an angelic shaman, angelic light stream, because I channel the 12 bandwidths of source, as well as the seraphim and Elohim frequencies. But more importantly, I guess, for the purpose of this specific conference, I am what you would call an angelic incarnate, or walk in, or fly in, as I like to say. And I'm here to represent the angelic light nations. So I am grateful to be here. Thank you for having me. I am just so excited to learn more about everyone else. And I will, I guess, leave it there.
Great.
Thank you for being here. We want to drop down to Dr. Horowitz.
I'm not quite sure how I got here with all of the rest of you. You are way more interesting than I am. My life is boring compared to what I hear from you guys. That's all I have to say. Well, I'll say a few more things.
Tell us about, Richard just wrote a book called The Starseed Awakening.
No, Matt, Alan, that's not the title of the book.
That's
the title
not
of
the
the
title.
book is
What is the
Starseed
title?
Revolution, r/evolution, The
Yes.
Awakening.
The Awakening, Starseed Revolution. Yeah, tell us about that, Richard.
So, as I explained, because some of you I've never met before, but it was a great pleasure listening to, and the energy is just fabulous. So, you know, I came in, I'm Aquarius with an Aquarius rising. So I came in basically to help this world. I had no idea at 5 years old, 6 years old, speaking to God, how I was going to help. But I heard when I was very young, meditating, speaking to God, you've come to save the world, which as a 6-year-old, of course, makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But I asked again and said, I'm sorry, could you please repeat that? And I heard the exact same thing. Life goes forward, you become a doctor, you know, your Jewish lineage, you only have a choice of being a doctor or a lawyer. So doctors seem good. I did want to go into theater and music. That's a whole nother section I'll tell you about at some point. But in any case, moved up to the Hudson Valley, became a Lyme doctor, and saw 13,000 chronic Lyme patients over my life. And basically I had asked the question when I left medical school to my Lama Gendon Rinpoche, when I leave school and I go out into the world, what is the most important thing you want to tell me before I go out and I become a doctor? And he said, Richard, the most important thing to know is compassion. He said, put yourself in people's shoes, do for them what you would want done for yourself. He said, it'll all go well. And I've been a Buddhist for about 40 years now. I've studied with the Kagyu masters. In fact, this morning, it's interesting you picked this day for this conference. Today is the 10 Auspiciousness Day. It's one of the days in early January where the Buddha was born. And some also say enlightened. So it's actually one of those days where the energy is multiplied. So getting these kind of transmissions on this day is actually quite auspicious. And His Holiness Sakya Trinsa Rinpoche gave a medicine Buddha initiation this morning. And when we have some time later, I'll do the mantra with you. For those of you who don't know it, I'll connect with you and do the mantra, and we'll do maybe a personal healing. For those of you who have tick-borne, for those of you who've gotten COVID. I also then did discover answers for COVID that are natural. For those of you who are sick with COVID or think that you have a friend who may have long hauler syndrome, my website is cangetbetter.com. It's all one word, cangetbetter.com. Go into the COVID tab. You just heard from Stephanie about antioxidants. So this virus, the way it attacks people is mainly through oxidative stress from free radicals damaging your body, damaging your organs, your brain, your heart, your liver, your lungs. And the most primary antioxidant in the body, glutathione, is 140 times more powerful in the lung than anywhere else. If you're exposed to pesticides and environmental toxins, you don't have enough glutathione. And what we've discovered, and has now been published, and we published the first worldwide article on glutathione in April 2020, if you replace with N-acetylcysteine, NAC, and glutathione, which are one of the primary antioxidants in the body, and you do it with alpha lipoic acid, it blocks a certain switch inside the nucleus called NF-kappa B, which releases all these inflammatory molecules that damage your body. So we discovered natural ways of blocking the inflammatory pathways. NAC, alpha lipoic acid, glutathione blocks NF-kappa B. The NRF2 biochemical pathway, broccoli seed extract, sulforaphane glucosinolate, most powerful detoxifier for phase 2 liver enzymes, and curcumin, turmeric. Those two will bring down inflammation through the NRF2 pathway. The last one is called the NLRP3 inflammasomes, and that, believe it or not, is a small dose of melatonin when you go to bed. Melatonin blocks the NLRP3 inflammasomes. When you get older, guess what you have less of? Melatonin. Guess what else you have less of? Glutathione. So the elderly people that are getting this, in part, I believe, is from a lack of glutathione with a lack of antioxidants. So Stephanie, you kind of brought me into this. I was not going to discuss this, but since you decided to discuss like ORAC values and stuff, I said I should discuss COVID and tell them about antioxidants.
No, but you know what, Richard, that's important because that's one of the biggest viral activities right now. And also I want to say this, the zinc and ionophores, my angels guided me to something called BioZinc, for anyone who cares, spelled BIOZINQ. And this is extremely important, they're telling me. Do you want to talk about that? Do you know anything about that?
So yes, so zinc is part of the protocol. When you go on cangetbetter.com and go into the COVID tab, you'll see that there's a for treatment and prevention. And we have all of my patients. I've not lost one patient in 2.5 years with COVID. Not one patient in my practice has died. Now, I have used a lot of ivermectin. I'm sorry, did I say that? We're recording this. There's 26 studies, 10 of them randomized trials showing the drug works. It's out 50 years from the World Health Organization. Paxlovid just got approved, 89% efficacy rate for short-term COVID. You got to get it in the first 5 days, but ivermectin is safe. It's been effective, and it's helped all my patients with glutathione, NAC, zinc. I use Immunotics 3,6-beta-glucan to bring up the natural killer cells and T cells, which help fight viruses and cancer in your body. So take a look at it. It's on the site for anyone who needs it. And basically, the reason I'm here is because the kids were coming into my medical practice about 3 years ago with climate grief. And they would get over Lyme disease. And I said to them, well, what are you planning on doing with your life? And they say, nothing. I'd say, what do you mean you're not planning on doing anything? You're going to school, you're going to college, you're getting a job? They said, no. I said, why? Well, the world's going to end. Why should I bother getting a job or go to college? I'm not one to miss synchronicities. So when several kids literally day after day after day started coming in, the universe was clearly knocking on my door with synchronicity saying, oh, this is something you need to pay attention to. There's a large amount of kids with climate grief who feel like lack of hope for the world going forward. So I sat in meditation and I asked my spiritual teachers, my guides, who, by the way, I'm not sure you guys know exactly who your guides are. Mine, I believe, are Groucho Marx, Mel Brooks, and a bunch of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas sitting around with Michael. Archangel Michael is definitely involved with the rest of them. And there's a bunch of shamans thrown in, but I'm not good enough to know who they are. I just know they're friggin' funny. They're wise and they're funny. So I sat in meditation and I said, all right, you guys, what do you want me to do to help? And I heard, you should write a book. And I wrote, all right, hold on. Why would anyone want to read a climate book by a Lyme doctor? To which I was responded, no, we want you to write a science fiction climate change book. To which I said, let me be clear. I'm not a novelist. I've never written a novel. I've written a couple of New York Times and national bestsellers on Lyme, but not novels. You want me to write a science fiction climate change novel? They said, yes, and make it funny. So those were the instructions I got. I sat in meditation for about 6 months and I downloaded a 450-page manuscript. And the book is called Starseed Revolution, r/Evolution, The Awakening. Now, in this book, I am a hybrid. I didn't know that hybrids existed. I'm half human, half Arcturian in the book. I'm Prince Ian of Arcturus, the royal PIA. And if I figured if anyone remember me from now on, just remember I'm the royal PIA. So in this book, I've come to save the world, and I have climate solutions, and I have a 3-part Broadway show in the middle of the book called Ecocide, a play in 3 acts, which can be produced off Broadway. So I'm in the process of trying to get my Hollywood friends involved and other people to see if we can make this into a movie, maybe get a Broadway production, raise awareness. But essentially what I did in the book is I transmitted the teachings of Khenpo Gangsha Rinpoche, who lived in the 1950s in Tibet. I took a 10-year Ma Mudra course by Khenpo Trungpa Rinpoche. He's one of the very high lamas of the Kagyu lineage, and he transmitted Mahamudra teachings of how to reach full awakening very quickly. And tonight, depending on the time we have, I shared it actually the last time I spoke with you guys, but I'll do a very quick meditation and just give you the essence. It's very simple. I'll do it in 2 or 3 minutes. And then maybe some medicine Buddha mantras just to heal anyone who's sick out there.
Right.
So, but in any case, so that's what I'm going to share in a bit with everyone. Now that I got the initiation this morning, let's do some medicine Buddha mantras together. Let's meditate, and I can do this later or now, whatever you guys like.
So let's do it later. We'll go through everyone, but thank you also, Richard, for the medical update, because it's important we, take care of the body. It's here to be valued. So,
and by the way, I do suspect by March of this year, my prediction, COVID is going to be in remission by March of this year. There's enough people with Omicron having milder cases of this virus. Between natural immunity and everyone who's been immunized, this virus should be in retreat by March. There will always be coronaviruses around, like flu viruses, but not to the deadly nature that they are. And just so you're aware, glutathione has been published in the medical literature for the flu, for dengue fever, for HIV, for hepatitis. It's an antiviral. So these are natural things you can take. And, I've not had any fear during this pandemic. So if you look up the science, you'll find it solid and it should help you. But of course, speak to your doctor. I cannot give you medical advice when I don't know you, but please speak to your doctor about the things I mentioned.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Richard. I appreciate it. And I think everyone here, most everyone here appreciates it. So we'll come back to the actual star seed revolution on our next round. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Who's next, Sheila? Unmute, Sheila.
There we go. Hi, Bridget. You want to
Hello,
tell us a little bit more?
hello.
Hi.
Yeah, so hello everybody again. I'm Bridget Renee Holliday, and the way I work in this world is through Clubhouse. That is where I spend a lot of my evenings and sometimes in the daytime, depending. But my service soul work is through Beyond Quantum Healing Hypnosis, which is really a catalytic force for consciousness expansion. If you are inclined to have one of these types of sessions, your high self has already prepared you before it even comes into your conscious mind. And it is a fast track for your consciousness evolution. But also, I'm an awakening and ascension mentor, and I do multidimensional energy healing. And you can find all of that. I'm about to add it there. There you go. Okay, it's in the chat now. I was preparing for this. But also come hang out with us on Clubhouse. We have a co-created club, as I mentioned earlier, where there are 6 of us, and we hold and create a very high vibratory container. You'll often find Steph in there with us too when she can pop in. And we discuss everything to do with ascension, but also star seeds and normalizing the conversations around interdimensionals, extradimensionals, ultradimensionals, and extraterrestrials. There are some of our rooms where we share, what's going on within our own journey, and there are other rooms where we're highlighting a specific race. That's been a monthly thing. But also, if you're looking for a deeper connection with your soul team, those beings who are here to guide and assist you along your journey, that can be, of course, I include my high self in it, but even though that's a higher aspect of me and all of us, simply because they all work as a team, they're in oneness. But it can also be angelic beings, it can be ascended masters, elementals, and then what I like to call the large group of star beings. It's so much faster than what I just said earlier. And, if you're looking for a deeper connection with them, every month we do a room, we hold a room where my team and I walk you through something called Step In, Step Out. And all of the soul teams for every single human on the planet knows what this is. It's been megaphoned out through all the dimensions. So they're here with me, even if I don't know it's that night, if I'm lost in whatever I'm doing, sessions or working or relaxing. I always know when Step In, Step Out is, because my house gets really full really fast. And they're like, we're ready to do this. And I'm like, I know you are, and it's going to be in like a few hours. So could you give me a little space, But I'm like, come back in a couple hours. I promise we're doing this tonight. But if you're looking for that, come and hang out with us and do that. We also hold, Nimesh opens the collective's Akashic Records, once a month as well. And then there's so many other types of rooms that we do. A lot of ascension sharing. Brittany is amazing at manifestation and holding space. So is Faye. Sonia and I generally talk a lot. Our favorite conversation is anything to do with star beings. So her stories are a lot of fun as well. But if you're looking for anything like that, come and hang out with us. All it takes is time. And if you want to share, and you're being called to use your voice and step into your truth and speak your truth, it's a good place to do it. So I highly recommend that. But I've put a special BQH offer on my website. So there is a page that you can go and grab a BQH at a really affordable rate. So go and check that out if that is something that you're looking into. And I, of course, am always doing Thursday night rooms with Witch Alliance. All of the Thursday night Zoom events, I run 3 devices. I mean, it's a thing to get this streamed into Clubhouse, but I do it every Thursday that I can. I mean, it's like I've got this on one ear, an AirPod in the other, and a phone, a laptop, and an iPad running all at the same time. But we get it in Clubhouse. So if you don't feel like being on camera or being a part, I don't know why, but if you don't, for some reason you just want to listen, put on Clubhouse. We're there every Thursday.
Right.
Oh, and that's 4:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 Eastern, 12:30 a.m. UK, Mondays and Fridays.
Awake and Ascending. That's Bridget Holliday.
Alec got it.
Yeah. All right, but we'll just go through everyone's introduction so we can really get into the conversation. That's what I'm interested in. So go ahead. Who else?
Jason.
Okay, hi everybody. Hi panelists. My name is Jason Addison Ames, and I have wavefoundation.com. That's wave with 2 V's. I was a marketer, and in 2019, the walk-in started to happen. So now I'm a mix of ascended masters and angels. And so I do a number of things, everything from channeling to space clearing and cleaning, to spirit-led enterprise advisory for select businesses that are forward thinking and are open to spirit-led counsel. I work with animals, pet communications. I can communicate with any being anywhere at any time if it be for the highest good and that being is available. So I use those communication techniques and channeling to help people get unstuck, move forward, get a sense of clarity and direction in their lives. And I'm glad to be here participating on this panel. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
Sure.
That's really great. Okay. Who else we want? William Lenville.
Hi.
Yes.
Hey, how you guys doing? Thank you so much for having me again. And hello, panelists. What a beautiful, beautiful come together and communion and complementariness that we've got to have through this event, but also to all the live streams that we get to touch, affect, assist, and really getting everyone waking up, opening up, and accelerating, and even vibratorily, but also through the marriage of the higher and the lower, and also there with the reconnection of their guidance realms, their entourages, their higher levels, and then their creator consciousness. And what a blessing, true blessing it truly is to be able to play with everyone on so many different levels. And the way to reach us would be williamlinville.com. And my wife and I have a company called Universalis Incorporated, because it includes like all parts of the whole universe. So there's times where I'm presented with going into your Akashic record realms, which is playing with your soul level of consciousness, which goes through the things that are running your live stream, the things that are affecting you, the things that are holding you up, the things, and even the limitations within yourself through your soul level of consciousness, and then going through finding out, dissolving all vows, contracts, and agreements. And other times we work with channeling, mostly of the ascended host realms, a lot of Sananda, the Buddha, the Krishna, and Paramahansa Yogananda. And then at other times, the more of the archangelic realms with Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, Ariel, and Soviet, and so forth. And, you know, when we play together, we do energy work with tuning into you and clearing out debris, depending on, it all depends on the openness of the dear one that's coming in. Everything's still presenting, but then the willingness is what we play with to really go into thy will, not my will be done, to be able to clear the decks, open you up, bring in your higher levels to start dissolving the lower levels of consciousness to where we're playing with the full embodiment of creator as incarnate, starting to rev up, accelerate, vibrate faster. And then we also play with optimum health and well-being and homeostasis. But in all levels of life, there's your mind, your body, then we have your exponential world, you have families, you have marriages, you have relationships, camaraderie-ships, jobs, and we work with a lot of businesses as well with getting everything up and running and moving, but also shifting and changing the energy within whatever's playing out for you that's no longer complementarily adding to your live stream. So it's kind of like a matrix kind of level, you know, where you play with, my main line would be bring it on and whatever presents, because every day it's different. Every client is different. Every client is different every day. So we play with brother humanity in whatever is presenting for them, whether it be COVID, whether it be Omicron, whether it be Delta, whether husband and brides are going head to head, whether it be egoic structures, emotional structures, from in the womb to past incarnational, all the way throughout your life stream. So in a nutshell, that's everything that we play with and so much more. It really comes back to whatever presents in that moment. So thank you so much, panelists. And thank you again. It's been such an honor to be in such a reverent company.
Reverent and irreverent. Irreverent.
A little bit of it all, right?
Right. Okay.
And then we have Devi. Hi, Devi Grace with the Divine Union Foundation.
Greetings to all of our presenters tonight. And I'm very thankful for the councils that we are, right, in the realms of the interstellar, now gathered here through the portal to ascension tech spread. So my background basically is a proxy and a conduit for the primordial divine mother and the primordial divine father. That archetypal masculine and feminine origination point. And so I basically sit on the original council that designed the entire free will experiment. So basically my guides come from the womb that is the center of all that is. And I've incarnated into all the different star races across the omniverse. And here on Gaia Sophia, we have this alchemical marriage that's taking place, not just for our species, all other species. And so I refer to it as just as the original Hieros Gamos. It's the sacred mystical marriage of all these different frequencies into a pretty miraculous unification of all these different variations that we've explored across the ages. And, you know, they call me an archetypal oracle. I work with the twin dyad, if you're familiar with the Star Wars mythology. And my specialty is really the halls of Amenti. That's the zero pointing of the old Akashic records and moving into that implementation of the law of grace, and specifically through that multi-generational ancestral healing, which can be this species and beyond. So I'm one of the contributing authors of the Ancestors Within series, and I specialize in the transmutation of both human DNA, but also galactic DNA, because we have incarnated in all these different species. And now it's bowing to the great mystery and being a conduit for that to midwife into existence. So they do call me an intergalactic medicine woman. Good to be with you all today. You can find me through divineunionacademy.com, speakingtreeoflife.com, or divineunionfoundation.org. And on to our next speaking stick member. Who do we hand it to? Marin or so?
Okay, let's go. Marina, would you like to introduce yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you so much. Well, my name is Marina Seren, and I'm a psychic medium from Spain, Madrid. I'm 21 years old, and I basically dedicate myself right now in the spiritual field as an international speaker. And I am writing a book with all the channelings that I received so far via, my guides or extraterrestrial contact experiences, channeled consciously. And I'm also planning to open a YouTube channel in which I will be teaching all the things that I got so far from experience and learning, and for the agenda of disclosure. Now, I move myself in many different fields in ufology because I can be focused in the most spiritual part, the inner world, the spiritual work and everything. But I can also move towards the arena of disclosure, because I am a former secret space program survivor, which is one military program that has been there for some time. And so I'm working with agencies like MIFON, in which I share my story, and they are working with putting it out. I'm writing articles on it so that I, raise awareness on what the program is about. And I also do it for the purpose of helping people, get out of it and understand their experience more, because sometimes there will be certain targets that will be that will receive negative interactions by the government, the shadow governments. And so sadly, this is a reality. And I am a survivor of these programs of MK Ultra. So I'm trying to put my story out to show that it's not all about, candies and rainbows and unicorns. The spiritual awakening has a lot, to it, a really big narrative. There are many things going on Earth, but I also want to share that it is all fine. It is all okay. We're not alone. I am being assisted, as all of us. So there's definitely hope, and that's what I teach in my spiritual work. I actually hand people the structure of consciousness that I was given by my star guides and family, so that I can help people get out of that hole that is, the dark night of the soul of awakening. And I'm going to be trying to do as much as possible because it's my assignment. So I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us. Yes.
Thank you. And it's pretty late where you are, huh? What time is it?
It is 3 a.m., but luckily I'm a night owl. So.
Well, great. Well, thank you for joining us. And Zoe, I think it's pretty late where you are as well. Thank you for being with us and opening up with such a great presentation this morning.
Thank you. Love and peace, everyone. Yes, my voice is starting to go. So yes, it's after 2 in the morning here in London. So I'm coming from London, guys, and my birth name is Zoe Pennant, and my spiritual name is the Sage. I was given that name from the beings and a spiritual teacher. And it's a concept, it's an energy name. So the Sage is an energy of wisdom and words and storytelling and sharing the purpose of being here in this earthly realm. So my journey comes from an aspect of being a walk-in and only realizing I was a walk-in, that word, even though I felt it since 3 all the way up. Identifying that word has been a couple of months ago. With regards to my journey so far, I now, in this present moment in time, do a lot of energy work. And the energy work that I do is a concept of many things. It can come through words, it can come through actions, it can come through hands, energy healing, it can come through song, it can come through meditation. It's just different aspects of energy work. And I was contacted in 2017 by these 3 beings that looked like aliens. At the time, I was calling them aliens because that's what I thought that they were. They had a big head, small body, they still do, no eyes, nose or mouth. And we ended up having I would say a relationship, a family relationship. And in this present moment, I work with them now. So we do work together where they ask me to participate in assignments for this earthly realm. And that can be through energy work, shifting energy in different forms. But a lot of the energy work that I do is everyday stuff. So even though I hold meditations, I have meditation classes each week, and I do energy work, so people come and get energy work. The energy work that I do is specific for each individual, so it changes all the time because it depends on that person. And I'm not a healer. I'm not here to heal and then make everyone okay. My purpose is to share for others to be able to identify who they are and what their purpose is and why they're here. So the beings have activation codes as well. And they activated myself, where I went to their energy field, and they do activations as well. And that is the basis of what I do in this earthly realm. So I connect with the all, I connect with the oneness, I connect with you guys in different forms. I astral travel a lot and get information in that way. And we're all here to take part. It's like a puzzle, and we're all here to be part of this puzzle to be able to create the experience that we wanted to experience while we are here on this earthly realm. Because we all know that's listening now, energy continues to shift. So energy continues to shift, we continue to shift, and within that shifting mode, we continue to grow and find ourselves at the same time. And while we're finding ourselves, everyone else is finding ourselves. And the beings love to allow humans to remember that they're not forceful. So they don't say you need to do this or you need to do that. They're always asking, the beings that I connect with. And they always say for us humans to remember, it's not just about humans. It's every aspect of this human world. So I connect with animals, I connect with insects, I definitely work with the elements. I connect and do energy work with, stones and vessels and earth and just every aspect, the energy of nothingness, because it's that oneness that is going to really shift the energy field that we need to do. And that won't be for everyone, because everyone's got their own thing to do. So some, it won't be for them to deal with animals. It won't be them to deal with elements. It would be them to deal with just humans. And some people, it would be them to deal with something else. And this is where the collective comes in and the oneness comes in for us to be able to shift that energy, for us to be able to grow and learn more and to do what we need to do. So you can get me on as the Sage Oneness. So I have a linked tree / the Sage Oneness. Again, I'll put that on the chat. And I'm in the process of finishing off a documentary with regards to the beings. It's called Humans, Are You Ready Yet? With a question mark. And it's just an opening for us humans to be able to have some form of remembrance. That's what they always say. We're here to just make you guys remember, because we know already we are here to just activate our system to be able to know why we're here, because we will be continuing on, we transition on, and our energy shifts and changes at all times. So this is a process of just the now. we're not going to always be here for now, because we will be shifting all the time. So that's where you can, connect with me if you want. I have a YouTube, the Sage Oneness, and the YouTube channel again has a lot of the channeling that I do with the beings. There's a lot of messages there. They speak about everything that we are all speaking about, what we are all connecting with, and what I love about this energy right now that we all are connecting with, and we're all loving each other, and we're family, we're one human race, much as everything else that we are. We're the oneness of who we are. And it's that we're on the same page, and we're sharing the sameness of oneness that we would like to experience. And that's what's nice. And to be able, to actually be together right now is absolutely amazing. I won't go on because I can speak. So
thank you, Zoe. Thank you for that input. And thank you all for being here, because we're all coming from so many different directions and places, and angelics, walk-ins, hybrids, starseeds. I mean, the thing we can all agree on is that we're in the human body right now, and we are way showers of this new consciousness. But I do want to ask everyone, because we're all coming from different places, that it seems like because we are teachers, we're leaders here, there also seems to be a different relationship that each of us have to the human body that's not just ordinarily human. I asked William this earlier, and if you know what I mean, there's something about the process a lot of us have been in that it's not detached from the human body, but most people just think they're their body. And I think this group, whether you're an angel, starseed, hybrid, there is an awareness of something else and the body. So I'd love to hear what everyone has to just comment about their relationship to the body, and how to integrate that to the wider public. So Stephanie, you look like you were ready to speak.
I can speak a little bit on that.
Yeah.
For me, it was really interesting because the gnosis of it was there, but there's the denial. Because it's a little ridiculous to go around saying you're an angel, in some respects to people. You're not going to say that. They'll look at you like you have 3 heads or something. So it's a little different. But what was interesting for me was I surrounded myself with psychics and mystics and healers and, a lot of people who had clairvoyance. And so what was funny for me was a lot of feedback, right? I would get people who would come to me and say, you're an angel. They would say this to me regularly, until I finally was like, all right, but I knew it. It just wasn't something I really went around telling people and or talked about publicly. I would be very comfortable saying I channeled the angels and such, but, to really come out of that spiritual closet, in a bigger way was difficult. And one day, one of my girlfriends, she says to me, I always know when you're coming. I always know it's you when you pull up. And I said, why? She said, because your wings stick out of the top of the car. And I said, what? And she says, yeah, it's really awesome. And she's like, they're so huge. And she says to me, I see a lot of angels all the time. She's like, but you're actually an archangelic and you hold broader wingspan. So you have these big, huge wings. And she's like, I only know one other one in the LA area, actually, other than you. And I said, you're kidding. And she said, no. And then she describes them to me and tells me what color they are. And she goes into this whole description of them. Flash forward to a massage therapist, unsolicited, just on the table. She says, I really love your wings. You're so amazing. They're amazing. Oh my gosh, look at them. And she starts describing the same colors. And I'm just sitting here going, all right, because for me, I'm in the suit and I'm not looking at that. That's not how I deal with it. That's not important to me either, to be honest. But now I just embrace the idea of, okay, we have these energetic streams that come out of our back chakras, and I teach people about that, or energy arcs, and we can send them around rooms, we can expand them. I mean, they're broad field harmonics and so forth, but again, I was teaching more angelic arts and sciences. So I had the nerd a little bit going on where the science likes to come through because my genetics is aeronautical engineers in my lineage and all this other stuff. So there was always this battle I had with really owning the wing and halo concept, right, of angels. And so to me, I've been a bridge more to understanding them more as these streams of consciousness. But yes, do they demonstrate within the holographic nature as signals of engagement to those who can see certain elements that would indicate, oh, you're an angelic, right? That does happen. So I just wanted to kind of clarify that. The other thing to say is part of how I got activated even more so was when Magdalene came into the picture. And this is an important point because Magdalene was an angelic. She was more importantly a seraphim. Okay. And a lot of people debate, was Yeshua a starseed? Was he a cosmic being? He was absolutely a high vibrational being, right? And the thing is that we can look at that as being an angelic as well. I'm not going to debate it with anybody, but I will say for Magdalene for sure, she was. And so the interesting thing with Magdalene was when she came in on her feast day, which is in July 22nd, I believe it is, 2013, the first time, she was here to govern and assist me in how to hold the frequency in the physical body because I was suffering, because I would really blow out my suit a lot. I would go into such high vibrational streams. I'd be sweating, I'd be vibrating, and I would be inflamed. And so that suffering wasn't fun, right? And so for me, it was about learning how to integrate and regulate the amount of energy that I hold in order to still dispense it in the way that I do, but also govern my body so my body doesn't burn out, and get hurt by it, literally, because it's a lot of radiation, basically, right? So just to kind of speak to that, Magdalene was the way she mentored me in how to be an angelic human, because that's what she was. So I just wanted to offer that for people who might not know that. So that's part of the
I
teaching.
think that's important to know when the energy might blow out your body and take care of it and balance it. But also this just higher connection, I think, to the physical is a lot of what we all can bring some of the people listening. I know, Richard, you're a practicing Buddhist, and what's that like, that relationship to the physical versus the level of consciousness and awareness that you've been practicing?
So it's a couple of things. So as far as the physical body goes, the first time my Kundalini started to open was when I was doing the TM City program in London. It was actually, this is in Kent. It was in a big castle in Kent someplace where they finished it up. I had never had the experience of Kundalini before, but the last part of this particular program opened it up. And I thought it was like candid camera because everybody in the room was like jumping up and down like frogs in this flying thing. And I'm looking around going like, the camera's got to be somewhere because nothing's happening to me. So, I fast for 24 hours. And then I felt the energy. And truthfully, I have a difficult time when I open it and I can do it. It's really powerful. Sometimes it's like even a punch in my solar plexus. It's like comes through with these shocks in the solar plexus, apart from like the body kind of shaking like crazy. So, I probably need to do more work in my yogic work as far as controlling it. I just keep it closed most of the time. But the way I function is at Aquarius, when Aquarius rising, is I'm in the air realms all the time anyway. So, as a Buddhist, they teach you, look at the empty, clear nature of your mind. That your mind, if you want to see the essence of your mind, of your enlightened mind, just look at it, place your awareness on your awareness. Don't be distracted, non-distraction. Don't conceptualize, non-conception. And basically, don't meditate. Just relax. Don't do anything. Just take a look. And what you notice is nothing. It's clear. It's empty. The emptiness, though, is, of course, the fullness. It's that enlightened potential where everything is possible. But the clear aspect is when we look at fear in this realm, which the reptiles are, trying to keep everybody on lower levels, which is what I wrote about in the book. Is love, of course, is the answer. And that's what the Arcturians, that I channeled this book, that was the answer that came through to me through the Arcturians, was keep it in the heart. And in fact, the meditation doesn't even work well if you just focus on the mind without the heart. You all know that. There's got to be a warmth. There's got to be that love and that compassion to kind of link into the energy. So at least my own experience with it is that, when I can control the energy and I can stay focused, and again, I've been doing this for a long time and my mind still wanders all over the place. I mean, there's some very beautiful experiences with it. And what I really like is when I'm connected with my family is that there's this loving, very fun, I mean, humorous, joyful, wise energy is the way my body experiences it. And it just feels great. It just feels like a homecoming. So.
Thank you. Devi, Grace, do you have anything to say about the Kundalini awakening and relationship to the mind and body?
My passion still is for the tantric body of the whole planet. So I refer to Gaia as my daughter. And the only way that I've been able to embody all these different quantum upgrades, call them oversoul walk-ins, is in direct romantic partnership with all of the crystalline grid systems, right, of the morphogenetic unified field of the whole planet. And so I learned that if I was going to ground or forge this intergalactic tree of life that I am down through this vessel, I was going to need the assistance of all forms of ancient magic within the body of the biosphere. And so I reestablished ancient, basically, covenants with the, I call them the holy of the holies, the rockers and the rollers a few millennia ago, who were really the guardians of the body of the planet's wellness and well-being. And I have a symbiotic relationship with this whole planetary ascension. The term that I used before is metamorphosis. And so it's this complete surrendering to realizing that I can make love to this lattice of consciousness within the awakening essence of Gaia. And like in this mother-daughter relationship, because she is me and I am her, and we're inexorably linked, there's these galactic midwives that are coming in, and they're also assisting that angelic walk-in inside of Mother, Father, Earth. So if I were to be, nakedly candid, I couldn't actually embody my soul until I turned to the ancient ones who were midwifing planetary systems as they go through their awakening, and that I pledged my skill sets, or I partnered my gifts with the beings that are birthing the whole living organism that we call the planet soul or the world soul. And those teams are the ones that have been assisting me to find harmony and balance in my individual, right, human skin suit. So I'm sure some of the other speakers will use other terminologies.
Right.
And it does go all the way back to the most ancient galactic genetic records, because all of the star species have seeded, right, this race. And that includes, what you would call light races and also dark races. And so there's this mysterious smorgasbord, right, in our compendium. We all have a mixture of everything in us. There's no isolating of aspects, right? They've all been mixed and mingled across the eons. And so there's a fair share of humility for full soul embodiment for ourselves, or full soul embodiment of the planet means that we're going to have to synthesize frequencies that have never ever, right, synthesized before. And that's where it's at the level of the unknown frontiers of like a quantum integration heretofore that no star system has ever pulled off. Because like I said earlier, this is a free will experiment of massive proportion. And so the yield, right, of this Kundalini awakening that's destined to catalyze through all of us with the planet as it goes through this spectacular, right, graduation ceremony or wedding feast, is dovatish onomalne itokon nanaki la tasasiaton paktana, something that actually attracts the reverence of many different continuums of like, how are they going to pull it off with her body, not just our body, how are we going to pull this off with the body of the planet's primal essence. So in all honesty, I've had to be very comfortable with like the sensation of massive bolts of lightning, right, crescendoing through my cell structures, And my human body at first would feel absolutely terrified of like, how can I hold this much power and not just be obliterated? And so there's like massive courage, right? Muscles that have had to be developed of like, this energy is flowing through me and into the body of the planet. And that's my primary objective. It's not about me. It's a space of total devotion of like, if I can just ride this wave and give this wave full permission, right, to crescendo through me, then this planet's actually being fed. She's like getting her nourishment, her Shakti. And that was more important to me than quote unquote any temporary discomfort. And so I've built up this relationship of trust with massive amounts of galactic power in what I would consider, the vulnerabilities of my human body. So I've gotten to be a great, I guess you call it, galactic surfer. So
thank you for surfing and grounding. And I think this is why we're all here, to share different experiences. Let's bring Neil, our good friend Neil Gore, into the show here and talk about the incarnational experience and the passion and the transcendence that we're all here talking about while being embodied. I mean, it's this fine line I think we're sort of all looking at from the same but slightly different points of view. So Neil, please join in.
Yeah, so can you say the question one more time though?
No, I'm just looking at all of us and realizing that each of us, whether we're walking and angelic, starseed, we have a sort of maybe different understanding. So the people online have a different understanding of the consciousness to the human body, where most people out there, not to separate us, think that they are their bodies. And there's something with this sort of education that we're all learning together, which puts us, I don't want to say disconnects us, but we look at the incarnational experience a little different, not because we're special, just because there's this different level of awareness. So just curious how you look at it.
First, I want to say what, Devi, what you said about attract the reverence of many different continuums. That was on point right there. Like, I had to write that one down because it was just my two favorite words, reverence and continuum. You put them in one sentence. So it was like, it really resonated with me. And in regards to like embodying, my soul experience on Earth, I'll just give a little kind of story of my own experience, is that, from trauma as a child, I really disconnected. I not only went into my head, but I also disconnected from my earthly experience. My current, I guess, passion and what I'm doing for my own self on Earth is embodying my body, right? Like really embodying myself, being inside of myself, and just being grounded with all of this, because I've been out of my reality for so long. And even if I'm in my body, doesn't mean I'm disconnecting from the external world, because there's something that I like to say as of late. Some people say, I'm an earth seed, I'm not from anywhere else, I'm from Earth, So I've heard that a lot, and I have heard a lot of people saying I'm from space. But what I like to say is, didn't you know that Earth is in space? It's a paradox, like it really is. And so what I am doing now is really just like embracing this earthly experience and figuring out really how to be human, but realizing with being human, it's no one really knows what they're doing. We're all just trying to figure it out in each moment. And now I heard a lot of people explaining, I've heard a lot of people besides just the people on the panel here explaining what like the soul is, how they incarnate into this body. What I feel is that source wanted to experience itself infinitely, right? What if could I be this, right? That was the name of one of my poems. What if could I be this? And through that, everything that we could ever create and every possibility is manifesting or has manifested, because linearity isn't the way we perceive it, right? And since that's the case, that it's really interesting that there are many truths within this fractalized nature of creation. And the way we embody our souls, the way we incarnate into this reality, the walk-in experience, starseed experience, some of that might not be valid for someone. And we are such powerful beings that you can literally close yourself off to a certain reality and live your own reality where you don't even have that within it, So that's all I really want to say in regards to in regards to my own experience here on earth is really just embracing this earthly experience. But I'm also in awe of the fact that we are here to have all these different truths and all these different realities, and it's all valid in my book.
Great. I love that. I love that. Marina, how do you relate to the human experience, especially being a star seed and having this expanded consciousness? How do you relate to the body and the relationship to the mind and the spirit?
Well, what I came to realize and experience myself is that in the spiritual community or path of awakening, for us as starseeds and angelics and walk-ins, we experience two kinds of different imbalances with the body. The first one is in experiencing which we reject. I mean, we get attached to the body, like humans, we start to identify as our third dimensional egoic perspective, as our physical mind, and everything that comes to it, its physical materialized expression, which is the identity, the nationality, the name, the skin, the look, all of it. And that's not everything that we are. We're multidimensional beings. We are far more than just that, But then it also happens that we tend to reject it. We tend to go way too far away from it and detach from it to a degree in which we disconnect ourselves from our body as it was an enemy, as it had anything to do with us. And that's not totally true either. The body is just an expression of ourselves, an aspect of ourselves. It's representative. It doesn't mean that it represents everything that we are, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't express anything either about who we are. And I myself, I have experienced that many people also have communicate to me, tell me that the body is something that I shouldn't also like adore in terms of like beauty or everything, because I myself, I love to work with the body. I love to dress up nicely or do makeup or take pictures. And that's because one of my archetypal energies is Venus, is Aphrodite. I love sensuality, I love love, I love beauty. So I work with the body for that matter. I work with it in terms of art, I believe that it's an artistic representation of nature, like any beings, any organisms, of nature. Insects, animals, humans, ETs. So I believe that that is also okay. It doesn't have to mean that you're into vanity or you're ego driven, So I believe that there should be a point in our experience in which we come to a level of integration and balance, like a healthy relationship with the body, in which we neither reject it or become attached to it.
Yes, that is beautiful. That's sort of what I was looking for and and feel that we have these beautiful bodies and we're not just the body. So I think this group of people, we're here to kind of show a new relationship to that, because we do have to honor the vehicle. Jason, why don't you jump in on that? Because I know you've been through quite a process in your own awakening and integration. So if you want to share some of that process you've been through.
Sure. Yeah. Well, before the walk-in, I definitely thought that this was me, and period. That was it. That the body was me. And then after the walk-in, the walk-in experience for me was really dramatic, really fast, really deep. And I went to that space like Marina was talking about, where I didn't like my body. I was completely turned off by it. I was kind of really living kind of like way up here above my body and detached from my body. I wouldn't even look at myself naked, like getting in and out of the shower. I tried to stay covered up. I didn't want to see my body. And then one morning, because I'm highly telepathic, probably like everybody else is on this panel, one morning this voice came in very strongly, and identified themselves as, we are the one voice of the collective of all the bacteria in your body talking to you. And some of you, Dr. Horowitz, you probably know that the human body is more bacteria than it is anything else. And so it was an amazing conversation. And the bacteria basically said, listen, we're all here and we're part of this with you. So why don't we collaborate on this? Why don't we make some peace? Let's shake hands and let's do something good here. And so that began a wonderful process of getting to know the body and the universes within it on like a personal relationship level, just like we're all talking here together, and which gave me just a whole new respect for the body. So now, where I am now is complete love and admiration for the body. I've gone through kind of like a whole new way of understanding the body, but I do see it as like the body is not me. It's something that I inhabit. It's like a snail in its shell, that kind of thing. But the snail loves its shell. It protects it. It hangs out there a lot. I don't know what else a snail does in its shell, but it likes it. And you know, gone through like a new sexual revolution, gotten to, like Marina was talking about too, gotten to really love exploring with the body all kinds of new things. So yeah, so I mean, I think a being's, let's say, relationship with the body or the vessel is super important, and I really see it as a collaboration.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Bridget, do you have something about, you want to share about your incarnational experience and your integration with spirit?
I mean, okay, so the first memory I have that I accessed this last year was as an infant, and I'm in the body and I have full understanding of who I am as an essence. There is no filter. And I have angelic beings around me, 3 of them. One is talking to me about what it feels like to be in form, in a dense form. Another is explaining events that are coming up in my life. And another is working on my physical energetics, because there was something that was needing to be adjusted, we'll just say. So that's my first memory. Other than that, I have memories of, you know, really young toddler thing. And when I was younger, you know, the wonderful thing about being human is thinking back to, being an adult human, I should say, is thinking back to how we expressed as children, and accessing those memories if you can, and realizing that that is more of a natural way of having the human expression than the overcomplicated style that we've been living in for a while. Not that it's wrong or bad, but it kind of feels like that's where we're actually returning to a more simplified version of being human, where there is less distraction and complication and more conscious creation. So for me, when I was a teenager and early 20s, I was very much in the ethers, but also very in my body, because I loved physical things. I was always dancing and doing things, and I mean, totally out in the world all the time physically. But energetically, I was very much in a very etheric version of myself. And then as I've gotten older, and definitely after my Starseed Awakening contact experiences, I have been able to integrate more into the form. I understand that I'm a conduit for cosmic frequencies of parallel lives and beyond, right? Because more than just source expressions, we are all more than just source expressions. And that this physical form is the way that I ground it in. And I also understand that being grounded within my physicality enables me to expand and be higher at the same time. So it's not, I mean, of course, there are things that I have like off and on with food and all of that thing. Like I'm like, we have to eat again. I go through periods like that, but I think it really is because a lot of my lives we don't eat. And so I go through food again. I'm like, didn't we just do this like hours ago? Like, I'll have a period like that. But I mean, I still listen to my body, what my body tells me it wants to eat. I'm very intuitional with how I do those things. But that doesn't mean that my starseededness won't show up here and there where I'm like, really, didn't we just do this? Or, we have to go to the bathroom again, those kind of things. Like there is a time and a place where I'm like, okay, we'll do it just because it's part of this experience. But wow, am I going to be excited when we don't have to do this again?
Right. Some planets you don't have to do that,
Oh yeah, I think I have lots of existences where I don't have to. That we are able to really just be what we need. But also there are other existences where we breathe it in, right? So there's so many different ways. I think that's why breatharianism is so popular with some people. But because in other lives that's how they do it, and who knows, we may be there at some point. Humanity, I've never really had any issue with physicality. I don't have puritanical qualities at all. I'm very comfortable with my sexuality. I'm very comfortable with sex in general. Like I don't have any hangups when it comes to those things. So when it comes to that aspect, I believe most of us naturally have tantric capabilities. I know I do. And I think, when it comes to things like that, that's part of the physicality, right? That's a flavor of being human. And without this form, we wouldn't be having this experience. We wouldn't be in this, monumental period of humanity's evolution and consciousness, right? So we wouldn't be a part of this creation of a new way of having the human experience going forward. And so in that sense, I'm really grateful for this body. I'm really grateful for being able to utilize it and for it being the vehicle through which I'm expressing right now in this moment.
It is a beautiful vehicle, each one of us. It's the temple of really the living God. So I think it has to be honored. I just wanted to go back to Richard Horowitz about those non-human beings that are non-human creatures that are all through our bodies, the bacteria. You have anything to say about the colonies that inhabit the human form that?
I don't think having a conversation on the microbiome is probably for this particular conference.
Okay.
But what I will say from a physical standpoint, and this is one of the things I always got in college is, and you all know this, there's not one little bit of solidity to anybody. It's all space. It's all atoms and molecules and space. There's nothing solid going on here, right? This is sixth consciousness. There's five sense consciousness. But when it goes through the sixth consciousness, which is the filter of the ego, the problem is you don't see perception clearly. It gets filtered, right? So, but this isn't solid. When I was young, I was able to astral travel when I was young. I don't know what happened as I got older. Maybe things just shut down, but I had angel experiences when I was young. They scared the hell out of me, quite truthfully, because I didn't know what it was.
Angels scared you when you were young?
Yeah, they were coming to me all the time when I was young. I don't know, Alan, do you remember those Halo commercials when you were young, when the angels, I used to dream of them at night, and then storms would come and I'd ride the waves up and go flying in the air and stuff. It was a little scary as a young kid. I didn't know what was going on, quite truthfully. But in any case, so as far as I'm concerned, I mean, the message that you've all been bringing this weekend as far as consciousness expansion is, the good news, of course, and this is from the Buddhist perspective, when Siddha Rinpoche was asked, what did His Holiness the Karmapa tell you when you came to the United States or the West? What did you want to tell Westerners? He said, the most important thing to tell them is they're already all the Buddha. It's like, you don't get enlightened. You're already enlightened, right? The light is there. There's just clouds in front of the sun. So all they're really doing in the practice is, shamatha practice of calm abiding is to keep your mind in one place so you're not wandering all over the place. Vipassana insight meditation is to look at the empty, clear nature of whatever arises in your mind, whether it's where is the I that is experiencing it? Where is the emotion of fear when it comes up? Where does it go? Does it exist anywhere in space? You look at these questions in the mind stream, you see that there's nothing there, and you relax into the clear, open, empty essence, which of course is the enlightened nature, which we all have. So, in my book, Starseed Revolution, I actually do the transmission from these masters of how to reach this state as easily as you can. And then regarding Gaia, this whole book is about really helping to save the planet from climate change. And I'm hoping to get 80 million people to do a meditation that's in this book, which is very, very simple. It's a visualization actually of Gaia, of the world, but starting with the third eye with a small little sphere. Bokar Rinpoche was teaching this Mushamata. So once you've stabilized consciousness at the level of the third eye and sphere, take the sphere of white light, start to expand it out till it's bigger and bigger, then turn it into the earth herself, into Gaia. And then the way it works when you're in this expanded state is whatever thoughts or emotions get placed into the state like a seed has a ripple effect in consciousness. So there's almost a sense of mantra that I gave to the young kids, which is happy, healthy home, which is clear visualizations of the planet, happy, healthy home, and hold it while you're in this particular state. And when there's enough resonance, right, from quantum principles, you get enough people to resonate at the same level, things will shift in physical reality. So I'm hoping to work it from the inside out. And it's that's what I hope to do in the book when it comes out.
No, I was just going to say, maybe you could lead a little meditation before we close. But also, it's great to be reminded of Buddhist concepts because, as Sheila said, the cosmology of the soul is what we're looking at. And a lot of the Buddhists, of course, have qualified that for centuries. And we're just discovering a new way of understanding different forms of incarnation. So actually, I'll ask Zoe that question about your relationship to the physical and the incarnational experience and where you think maybe a healthy kind of boundary is set for you in those two fields.
Yeah, so for me, the connection from when I was younger with my story, where I started off identifying the energy of the spirit. So I'm coming from the other way around. You know, I'm coming from having to understand this earthly human body. And it's so surreal because when I was younger, I used to stare in the mirror. And I would stare in the mirror and think, wow, like hands, like skin, hair, you know, eyes, look at our nose. And I just would be fascinated by this human body. But I loved it, you know, and I had an understanding, I don't know where from, that it was a creation. So I created this. And I was very aware at a young age that I was like, wow, look what I created. So that love was there straight away. My thing was getting older within this earthly human body and growing within it is bringing the oneness, because there was so much separation. I loved going into that frequency of just energy and going there all the time and then coming back and then going there, even though there's no going and coming. You know, I'm feeling like it's going and coming, but there was no going and coming. It's just all within the oneness. And I had to ground myself more. So by grounding myself was meditation. So I started meditation at probably the beginning of my 20s. And that was my grounding, to be able to just meditate within, find that groundedness of just the earthly elements of just being, and not needing to feel like I'm traveling anywhere. I am a traveler. That is what I do. But there needed to be some form of groundwork for me to be able to stay here, to do what I needed to do. So for me, the physical body is a creation of everything else. So I look at you, I look at everyone else that's on this panel, and it's of me. And I don't see no different. So I don't see the coloring or anything. I see the me within the you and the you within the me. And that's always been like that. And that's been a bit of a challenge for me growing up, because some humans are on this earthly realm and they're so into this human body of what we look like, and the color of our skin and race comes into it. And it's caused a problem with our human race in this earthly realm, and because I've come from an entity of oneness and knowing that it's not about that, and I see you and me, and I see myself in animals, and all other aspects, that was something that I needed to understand, that we all come from different frequencies and we're all here to learn different things, and everyone has their own perception, and it's okay to love that. And it's okay to love that. So that is my intake on that.
Beautiful. That is quite a beautiful perspective, and I appreciate that. Sheila, you had something to say because you had such a dramatic walk-in experience that, the integration from the body, mind, and spirit was a process for you.
Well, it absolutely was. I think that because this body was so sick when I entered in, and there was such miraculous healing that took place, and then the neurology and the biology had to all be healed. Initially, I was only consumed with the body because I was trying to figure out what the heck was going on. And that's when I was changing my eating habits and my lifestyle. Then I had a phenomenal spiritual awakening once I discovered who I truly was. And for the longest time, I only wanted to be aware that I was a soul in a body having a human experience. And even to this day, 20 years later, I try to always keep that in the forefront of my mind. So if I end up being frustrated, it's like, that's just a human thing. It's okay. I can get through it. Type of thing. But I'm very disassociated with the person that I was previously. And the thing that grounds me, I think, into this body is, my children, my parents. Even though I know my parents aren't my parents they still are there. They support me. And even though they don't really get what happened, they love me anyway. But it really is a process for me to constantly stay grounded in the body. And I'm really working on that, because being human is a phenomenal process, because we're not just here to experience all the spiritual aspects. We're here to ground into this physicality. We're here to allow that energy of the cosmos to run through us, to connect with the earth, to heal the earth, and in turn, heal ourselves. And so it is a continual process for me.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. So I'm just looking at this great panel here and everyone's unique perspective, and, where we all fit together within our own cosmology, and how we're trying to build a better future for ourselves and the planet. So how can we all work together is the question, or maybe we're doing it here. Or, does anyone have an idea of where all these parts fit together, and how we can all collectively move into a better future? That's why we're doing this conference, but does anyone have a specific vision of how it looks? What are you going to say, Devi? You were shaking your head. Yes.
I love, again, the indigenous recommendations for the way of counsel. So here we are in the Zoom platform, and each of us is occupying, right, our designated seats. And what I love for groups to really practice with each other is, when you have a weekend retreat, to go into counsel with each other in the Dream Lodge, and then import everything that we co-create, right, in that other level the next morning upon return. So conferences that factor in our multidimensionality of consciousness into the weekend schedule, so that you have our communication platforms here, right, through Zoom, and then factor in the fact that we're connecting and collaborating and partnering with each other in the other octaves, and then incorporate that into the next morning. to really presence it and basically say, so what's your recall? What are you importing for what we did last night? The other platforms is I've traveled underneath, right? Say, for instance, we're all out on some medicine wheel in our backyards, and we travel down through the crystalline corridors, and we meet in an inner chamber, right, in the body of the womb of Gaia. And we have council chambers, right, in those alchemical chalices. I call it Holy Grail Council. And then we import that also from the chambers that we occupy down in the cooperatives in the below. So it would take like a minimum of 3 days, right? Your first day is quantum intelligence in the body of the earth. Then we have these opportunities like we're doing today with Zoom. And then we have another day dedicated to, right, what we're importing from the celestial, and have all 3 membranes, right? Like love sandwich. So that's been really fun. It's just one idea, one of many.
No, I like that. That is great. Marina, what were you thinking when you look at all the different talents and skills and intent people have and weaving it all together?
Well, I like the analogy of the puzzle, which means that the more we are all big picture, and that big picture of who we truly are, it's made of individual pieces of the puzzle, which will be us as individuals. So the more that we get to embrace and reconnect, awaken to our true shape, the more that we fit with the collective to create that bigger picture of who we truly are. So I believe that the mission for all of us is to wake up to who we truly are, so that we can get a clearer picture of who we are all together as the collective consciousness of humanity. So it's all about remembering, it's all about embracing, it's all about realizing who we truly are and expressing that with the collective. And you do not need to take a lot of effort, to try to make everyone know about it, just by being it, even if nobody knows around you, even if the world doesn't know. Just by you being yourself, you're actually already communicating that to the consciousness, to the collective consciousness of the collective. It is being informed because it's like a quantum system, interconnected quantum system. So it's already being sent. You just have to be yourself, and the universe will receive that, the all that is.
Great. Out of the mouth of a 21-year-old. I wish I knew that much. I couldn't even tie my shoe at 21, but thanks. No, thank you for that wisdom and that, download. And, we are all here to be ourselves. So, Stephanie, how do you integrate the angelic with the walk-in, with the star seed? I mean, where does that all fit together in your own cosmology?
Well, I think what I wanted to offer in terms of, how do we collectively co-weave, right? We're all light weavers. Yeah. We're all weaving consciousness. So for me, I do a lot of visualization. I mean, the imagination, right, is the vehicle of us creating. And so I'll do collective activations of the planet. I call it Diamond Earth, as I mentioned earlier, because it's creating new concepts through all of us, right? All of us have different visions of that. So it has many different faces and facets, but the coherence, how I see it, is to really tune into the core of the planet as if it is, because this is how I see it and experience it, has a beautiful crystalline diamond heart, right? Which is, you can see that as a many-pointed star, Merkaba, sphere, however you want to visualize that. But more importantly, when I was working with my teams, what was interesting is what came in at about 2017 was the concept of birthing Violet Earth. And Violet Earth was really about the bringing up, the revelation and the releasing of a lot of the toxic sludge, right? The stuff that we're going through right now. And then I would say that actually came in more like 2012, but then 2017 was when it was like full effect going. And then there was an overlap. And the overlap is really the beginning and the mantling up of what I call the diamond earth, which is, again, these crystalline structures or grid systems. You may see them as new ley lines or dragon lines, as they used to be called. And the reason for that was because we had the Grail kings and queens. We had these dragon families of the Christos that were here pretty much anchoring in a lot of consciousness of the angelic human. Okay, that's what they were here to hold. And over time, there was some shifting in that, and now it's coming back, as I mentioned earlier. So we're coming back into that in order to birth this new reality of this planet, because it's ascending, as we all know. And so to me, one of the most important things I teach is how to not only anchor into the appropriate grid systems, not the ones falling away, right, that are like we're letting go of and dismantling, but the new ones that want to be powered up, basically. And that's one of the things that I find is imperative now, because so many are feeling ungrounded. Well, it's because they don't want to ground into the old version. That's the issue. So when we give them a direction, especially if they're star-seeded, oh, but you're here to support these new grids, and we give them direction for that, suddenly they're like power wired, fired, and so I think it's just these small, subtle changes, and not sometimes subtle changes, that are coming to help us really understand how we are co-creating this. As Debbie was saying, it's like we're birthing this new earth through the womb of ourselves and her and all of this energy. And the importance of that, the importance of why we came in. You wouldn't be here if you didn't have certain skill sets that were paramount and important for this mission, if you will. And so to me, it's really like, Marina was saying, it's really important to remember who we are in order to even step into that. But once you know who you are, now what, right? Now you do. And so some of those instruction sets are coming in beautiful ways. And I would just say, for me, it starts really, as Richard was saying, the visualization of the whole system. I do something similar, Richard, where instead of from the third eye, I do something from the heart, but it's basically the same idea of putting out this holographic field around the planet, of visualizing this version that we would like to see unfold. So we can do that collectively. And we do that collectively. I mean, some of us already are doing that in our private groups, but the more that we're linking together and finding each other and networking, I think that's where the power comes in. I created, actually, and I just want to make sure I get that out there for some people who might not know this or might find this on my website. I created a network actually called the Angelhood, and the angelhood.com. And the reason for that was to bring the starseeds and the angels and the walk-ins, all of them under a social media banner that felt safe and secure to share the truth of who they are, but also not be infiltrated with troll energy, if you will. And so, I just want to make sure everyone knows that they're invited to that. And I'll put a little link for that, but it's free to join. And the beauty of that is, if you have concepts like this, and you want to collaborate and you want to connect with others, it's a beautiful platform to do that without so much noise and static. So I wanted to share that as well. That's how I'm doing it. I created a network for everybody, not just for me, but for everybody. And so just want to share that.
No, I love that. And I do agree with both you and Marina that the more we are ourselves, the more unique gifts we have to offer the earth and each other and all those hoping for transformation. So that is the key, because who we are, it really doesn't look like anything else. So Bridget, isn't that what Awaken Ascending is all about? Can you just share the Awaken process?
Well, I mean, that's that's hundreds of hours. Are you talking about the Clubhouse Club?
No, I'm talking
or
about
actually Awakening and Ascending.
I'm talking about that process of awakening and ascending.
Yeah, I feel like right now, most people are focused, most humans on the planet are focused on weeding. They're focused on peeling away the layers of the onion of things that no longer serve them, that they've adopted in as themselves, but it isn't part of them. So the way I often guide people is through that process, right? That we're still in what I jokingly call the purge, because that's kind of what it feels like for most people. But we're in this period where we're stepping more into our sovereignty. We're stepping more into conscious creation. And that's the next step, really, for most people, is really realizing that we are sovereign. And with that comes the responsibility that our inner world is being directly reflected in our external reality. So with that comes a lot of things that are amazing, though, because that means what we have created and co-created, we can also opt out of. Oh, Marina, look at that. Hi, baby. Sorry, kitties always distract me. Any furry babies do. So we can opt out of allowing our energetics in any way, shape, or form to add to whatever it is that we've decided we no longer want to play in. This is kind of a little more advanced, but that's where I see everybody going next, right? Is the conscious creation of our reality, really playing with the energetics. And with that will come a lot of healing as well, because we're in this period, as so many people on this panel, Steph was really good at pointing everyone out. I'm just saying we've all talked about it at some point. We're in this period where we are inflating what we want to see within the human experience, and that begins within us. But we are also deflating the things that we don't. And to do that, we have to really look within and see, where are we holding frequencies? Where are we holding energy that is in alignment with the things that we no longer want in the world? So that could look like, I often use the energy of war because it's a really easy, obvious one. But where within myself and my own consciousness, my own inner experience, am I holding the energy of war? And is it, like an entire pillar, or is it a filament? Either way, it doesn't matter. When we find it, locate it, opt out of it by reprogramming it, reimagining it, shifting beyond it, choosing different frequencies instead each time it comes up again, then we are in each now moment creating the new world, right? So this reality we're co-creating with one another, but it all begins within each of us. That's how I see it.
No, I love that. And I thought maybe we can all energetically share in this. Like, Jason, do you want to kind of bring in some energies and channel if you want, or just kind of do a little activation, and then maybe we can go around and everyone can add to that in their own unique vibratory frequency way. And just wondering if you're...
Yeah, thanks, Alan. I'm checking in with kind of the guys to see what
check in with your people.
1 second. Check in with my people. Yeah. Yeah, they're not saying they don't want to come through to channel. I think what they want me to share is they talk a lot about freedom. And so I think kind of an answer to your question, and this might be something everyone else can build on, is it's kind of like the Great Emancipation Proclamation is happening right now, and humanity is getting a sense of their freedom, and that they have really not been in prison except for the imprisonment we've put ourselves in. And so the activation that the guides talk about an awful lot is I am free, I am free, I am free. And that declaration, or really a claim of that which is already true, really is an activation for people to say, yeah, I talk about an awakening. Oh yeah, I am free. And it's like the Plato's cave story, is that when all that the prisoners have ever known are just the shadows on the wall and no real forms. It is sometimes frightening for them to be able to turn around and walk into the sunlight and look at what really exists. So I would say, the freedom bells are tolling, and now is the time for humanity to say, I am free, I am free, I am free.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else want to lead a little bit of a process here? Zoe, do you have a little channeling or meditation you want to give us?
Yeah, that was so poignant of what the guy before just said, like we are free, and connecting to that that word freedom, what that really means. So I'll just bring in the light language, the soul language, to connect with the frequencies, to continue on from the we are free. It is free, and freedom is. Lama shala kastulu komokolo shulumakala silimakala makala masilimiko shukumaki. Alama lama solo mokoshuko soko makala makala masiki siki. Alimiki saka hoshoko mokosiki mikisika hakase. Alama koko sokolomoko. Alama kisiki lama kashakale si. Alama salama kolo kosiki hamakashiki. Alama kohoma kosokolome kisiki limiha. Alamasili kashili mikili mikana makosokoloka. Alamakala sili makala makala makashili manakamana makolokolo. Alamana sili mana makala misili makala shikili makolo. Limile mikala mana salamana mamakosol mokolo mokalikili. Alamala sakala namakoshili kili maka. Halimike salama kolo mokosikila. Halamakala kisikili mikishikili mahala. Alomokosili mikala shili kili masulo mokosolo makalekila. Halamakasala makolo mokoshiki sikili mikili. Ala makasala makashali mekalaka sili mekalasiliko. Hali malakasala masili mekala makusuku no mohole. Ala masili la makala sili malaka sili kalamako. Ala masili la makasala makasili makala sokoloko. Ala mashili sili makala sili mekale mekale mekosolo mokoloko ha. Thank you.
Thank you. Devi, do you want to try to jump in there and add your light language to that mix?
Basically, it'll be the ancient ones singing in light to partner with my sister.
Yeah.
Ndehia kie, nahia koko, gertas tu kuku yando, kedesto makiela korusu. This is their love song to Gaia through all of us. In total reverence for her divine presence. Gortarki serastoku yeshe. Gidetoku sheyanai. Daisten konda ishaiko she nantaitayaki ashayai. I call it her orgasm, planet orgasms when she goes through an ascension cycle. All timelines converging into this ecstasy. All that we would call both dark and light, feeling the rapture. Where the whole thing crescendos. Graduation point.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Stephanie, you want to call in the angels?
Happy to. I mean, they're already here, but we'll do it again. I do this in angelic light streaming. Hold on. Shukatani sonele, Marekeni Mikaeli hele tishunara, Raffaeli hele kinazunara te shunara, Gabriele hele konajuna tana sonara, Uriele he kinazuta share he kinisu, Zadkiele he konashata te jukate kanaza, Raziele he konoshokatana haratutsene, Sitayele konoshokatana sale heteni, Jabumi harakanasuno. And may all of the angels of light who are present here already, networked within each and every one of us, the individuals of celestial consciousness, beaming through all hearts, watching this in any field of dynamics, know that we are sovereign beyond all measure and belief. I declare this so for all nations and all star systems. We are sovereign. We are sovereign. We are sovereign.
Blessings. Thank you. Bridget, do you want to channel through something?
I have to unmute first. Sure. Dear ones, we are calling upon you to join hearts and in collective consciousness state your desires and dreams for the world you envision. We encourage you to join with one another to manifest from the space of collective consciousness, because that is who you truly are, unified in love as one. Merge your focus and emanate your light and frequencies, blessing all, remembering who you are. We are here in oneness, supporting you, magnifying your desires throughout all time, dimension, space, and reality. You are so loved, beautiful ones. We thank you for receiving. We thank you for being.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
Marina, what about you? Do you want to open the field and tap into some higher energies for us?
Sure. Well, this is a message from my heart in which I ask you all to trust more in yourselves, because there is a point in life in which we have to detach from expectation, from the ego mind perspective, and to know that whatever that comes, it's for a purpose, it's for a reason, as it has all been divinely designed for the best of our wellness and our beingness. So it is times in which we have to let go to be able to fly like beautiful butterflies after they transform themselves, and to trust God, to trust the universe, and to trust your soul, because knowingness comes ultimately from the heart space. The mind perceives, the mind integrates awareness through vision, through perception, but it does not fully design the whole process. For without the heart, it will be lost. So it is time to trust more the heart and to let go.
Beautiful. Thank you for that reminder. Richard, it's up to you to bring us home here.
Oh, no pressure, Alan. Thanks.
No, do you want to bring in those prayers and that meditation?
Sure, I'm happy to do it.
Well,
This will
thank
be
you.
this will be a purification prayer and a prayer for anyone who is sick, and also, of course, for the world who needs our healing. So I'll do a little bit of a purification practice, just a quick prayer, and then medicine Buddha mantra. And what I would just ask people to visualize is to visualize these small and large lapis lazuli beings, however you would like to visualize your highest Buddha self, Christ self, God self, whatever words we're using. Just imagine them coming in small and large form into your body. Imagine them coming into the earth herself, just while I'm doing this. Om Zarzamaya Manapaya Benazartanabati Malbava Supakaya Malbava Supakaya Malbava Anorecta Malbava Savasiti Mapriata Savakama Tutsame Titam Jeria Gorohung Haha Haha Ho Begavan Savata Ganamin Mai Mutswanta Babma Samya Sato Ha. Om Zarzamaya Manopanaya Benazandanoba Dizarana Malbava Zudagaya Malbava Zubagaya Malbava Anorecta Malbava Savasiti Mapriata Savakama Tutsame Titam Jeria Gorohung Haha Haha Ho Begavan Savata Ganamin Mai Mutswanta Babma Samya Sato Ha. Om Zarzamaya Manopanaya Benazandanoba Dizarana Malbava Zudagaya Malbava Zubagaya Malbava Anorecta Malbava Savasiti Mapriata Savakama Tutsame Titam Jeria Gorohung Haha Haha Ho Begavan Savata Ganamin Mai Mutswanta Babma Samya Sato Ha. Diatom because maha because rudza samangati so diatom because ma 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 because rudza samangati so diatom because because it was samangati so teatom because maha because raja samangati soha tari som tari soha. Blessings to everyone for this new year. At least from my standpoint, I can tell you, hanging around with you guys is a lot more fun than hanging around with my doctor friends. That's all I have to say. You're way more interesting. Way more interesting.
We are your new doctor friends.
Oh, that's what this is. I got it.
Yes, we're the whole new team for you. I love that line. I mean, it was either Tibetan or a very advanced light language, or maybe it's the same. Maybe it's all light language. But thank you, Richard, for bringing in that energies. And this has been a very beautiful event. I mean, for 2 days, we've been immersed in this consciousness that is outside the mainstream. And I think that lights up new grids on the planet and encodes new possibilities into the human potential. It allows us to think new thoughts and to expand inside of us in more fresh, creative ways. And that is what I love about these gatherings, Sheila, is that that we allow people to come forward and just express something at a core of their being that in a way they maybe can't do anywhere else collectively. I'm not saying this is special, but it's great to bring people together who will inspire each other to reach into new realms of possibility. And Neil, thank you for the opportunity. Sheila, for the mindset to create what you envisioned is possible. And you have anything else to say, Sheila, Neil? I mean, I'm grateful for everyone here. Good. Sheila, wait, unmute. We don't want to miss a word.
There we are. Yeah, I just wanted to say that, you know, we are all perfect divine beings, and we've all come here to have this experience and really to remember who we are. And like the Hopis say, we're the ones we've been waiting for. And that's kind of, you know, a mantra that we have with the Wish Alliance, but it's true. We are. And I just, from the bottom of my heart, want to thank everyone for coming out and presenting and giving of your time and your talents and your skills. I just want you to know I have a little something I'm going to send to all of you as a token of my appreciation. And I also want to thank all of the people who have been here with us throughout the whole weekend. I am so sincerely grateful for your support, for participating, for the wonderful comments that have, taken place, the connections that have occurred, and to the people who are viewing now on YouTube, thank you so much for being here, because together it takes all of us to really create this new earth that we're wanting. And Neil, I have a special thank you for you, because I am, when I was trying to get this first conference together and had the idea, Alan introduced me to Neil, and Neil was just all over it. And Neil, you really are a gem, because you're out there creating all this conscious expansion, programs. You're very honoring of people's experiences, and you really try to provide all of these different programs that no matter where you're coming from, you have something that's going to feed people's souls. And I am so grateful to you for that. And Alan, I am so grateful to you as well. I mean, my goodness, you're kind of like the cornerstone of all of the new age movement dialogue, for the past 20, 30 years. And we kind of, try to follow in your footsteps. So I just want to let you guys know that as a token of the Wish Alliance, I have a little something that I want to send to you. And it is the Conscious Voyager Award. And we're presenting that to you for your unwavering dedication to humanity's conscious evolution, because you've been out there and you've been the one paving the way. You've helped to navigate this ascension process, and you're activating the 5D consciousness. So thank you so much. I don't know if you can see this.
No,
but it has a DNA spiral on the inside. It's like a cosmic egg with the DNA spiral on the inside. And it has this red ribbon of energy that comes down through it. And to me, that's showing that spirit that you've been igniting to kind of reach, above and beyond to help us. And the DNA, that wasn't a great photo, but it's two separate spirals. And that also reminds me of the contact that we're making, and it shows how we're merging together as one to create this new society. So thank you so much.
Wow.
And Neil, I have something for you too, and I want to talk to you about that after tonight.
And then we also have something else. Are we ready for that?
Sure.
Well, this has been a collective process, but thank you, Sheila. That was for me. That's amazing.
That's for you. Yeah.
I was not expecting that. I just do it because it's fun. But, we also have something special for somebody that I think it's important to recognize in this community. I mean, we've all dedicated our lives to this cause, and this is our life, this progression of human awareness and the awakening of possibilities for the human experience and transcending the human experience. But there are some people who come forward, and immediately when you see them, that their life is dedicated to transformation and awakening the human soul to its true potential. And it's sort of like, it's not a competition, but there's usually in baseball the Rookie of the Year award, like that person who comes forward and just shows this amazing potential to keep going and inspire people and bring more love to the planet. So this is why we've chosen Marina to receive a really special gift from the Wish Alliance, and me, Neil, and Sheila, just to acknowledge your dedication, Marina, for the transformation that you've come here to be a part of. And it's people recognize your sincerity and your love and your potential. This is a long career you got ahead of you. So we just want to give you a great start here. And we've been blessed to have you as part of our community. So do you have a little thing for Marina there, Sheila?
Yes, I was just going to let you know that it's an aqua aura angelic pendant. And the reason that this was chosen is with your logo, you have the angel wings, and then you also have the shape of the pyramid coming.
You have to put it up on the screen. We're seeing the other with the red ribbon.
Oh, really?
Okay, wait
That's
for
interesting.
it. Wait for
Okay, let me share again.
Right. And
are you seeing it now?
yes, there it is.
There we go. And so this it's called an aqua. It's an aqua aura angelic pendant, and it's a quartz. And so it's going to help to hold the energy and the vibration. And so like I was saying, the reason that I chose that is because of the representation of your logo. And with this being angelic and you have those wings with the pyramid coming down, I thought that every time you wear this, you can think of the Wish Alliance.
Yes, and think of the love that people have and the honor you have in our collective awareness. So
I'm so thankful for you all, like Sheila, Alan, Neil. I'm so thankful for the Wish Alliance. I'm so grateful. I have no words. I appreciate you. You didn't have to do it, but it's such a lovely gift. I don't have words. Thank you so much.
Well, you're with us. You're with us on this journey, Marina, and you are
so grateful to have found you. To be working with you. And that's enough gift, to be working with you guys.
Thank you. We love it. And everyone here, it is a gift to work with every single person here because we present this unique perspective and this unconditional love and this way of bringing spirit into form, which is our mission on all the different ways. So, and the captain of the team, Neil Gore, is leading the way because of his dedication and his, when he started this, he didn't think, maybe he'll get some people listening to his seminars and do this, but he's put his whole consciousness and effort into making this happen. And now it's reached tens of thousands of people. So it's we're not just congratulating ourselves. It's like we are honoring the efforts that we've all made to create some new realities, as they say. Any response, Neil?
No, I'm just super grateful, and I love I can't do anything else. This is just what I want to do for my life, Since 2015, I've been doing it full time. I started in 2006, 2008, I did my first event. And some of our videos, when we work with people that have had millions of views, it's just gone out to so many people. When I first started doing this, I had no idea how was I going to put all these different things I did in one place. It took me 10 websites. Many times I quit my job because I was like, consciousness, everybody needs to know that extraterrestrials exist. I was so gung-ho for just this awareness that literally just jumped into the fire so many times, and I burnt myself many times. And but now I've shifted my whole perspective on failure. Failure is also a success in my book. And then finally in 2015, with my first online webinar, everything shifted, and it's just been, you know, just riding the wave ever since then, and growing, and the platform's been building. And I've just had the opportunity to work with like a lot of people, actually all of the people that I first listened to in 2001, 2002, I've worked with. When I first started reading these books and watching these videos, and like, you know, I was getting William Henry's videos from Netflix because he was on Netflix back in the early days. And I had no idea to end up like being friends with these people, you know? So to me, it's just like the people that I really learned from and assisted me in my awakening. Now I get to actually be in community with, and to be along the journey with them. And I had no idea it was going to be like this, but I knew that it was going to be something big, you know? And so I'm just super grateful that I get to live my passion 24/7. And when I have 16, like sometimes I'm 15, 16-hour days, it's like I'm literally just like at a theme park, you know, because I'm creating like magic. And that's my new thing now, is like when someone texts me, say what you're doing, I'm creating magic, because like it's just beauty and just art and just expression and connection. You know, I wanted connection in my life, so I started cultivating events that cultivate connection for others. And from that, I've been able to receive the connection I needed as well. So I'm just happy that I'm able to do this and just be around so many beautiful people.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you. Thank you for doing it, because you have touched the lives of hundreds of thousands of people.
Thank you.
Well, and thank you, Sheila, and thank everyone. I can't wait to see Marina in her new aquamarine necklace. So it's been a really great weekend, and really added, I think, to the collective mind, and help transform people, hopefully. Do you want to, what do you want to do, Neil? Do you want to invite everyone into the pool, or do you think we've had enough, or it's up to you?
What do you guys feel? We have like less than half people left here, so we could add everybody in.
I
Yeah, we
need
can-
to say blessings and good night, unfortunately, but I want to say I love you all, and I give you big hugs from my heart to all of you. And congratulations, Marina, and congratulations, Neil, for putting this together, and Sheila and Alan. I've produced events myself, summits and conferences, and it's no easy feat. So I want to congratulate you as a fellow producer on an amazing event. So I do want to say that as well. And I just thank all of you again for being part of this and having me.
Thank you so much. I will be in touch.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yes, absolutely. Happy to have another time together and playtime together like this. So much fun. And everybody else, I love you all. Thank you so much. And we'll see each other soon.
Thank you.
Bye, Stephanie.
Right. Bye, loves.
What we could do, I mean, if we don't want to bring everybody on right now,
Yeah.
we could give them the let everybody know about the next Wish Alliance, and we can have them on there as well, you know.
Sure.
So, but it's your call, Alan. What do you want to do?
No, that's fine, because it is getting late, and maybe if someone has something they want to say in the chat, or really has a pressing need to share, you can just, you know, let us know, and maybe, you know, but I'm okay. I think, you know, it's been a really full, I think we're going on 9 hours now, is it?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a long day.
It is. It is.
Intense day, an intense weekend, but it's
Yeah.
been beautiful.
And
So
remember,
beautiful.
everyone, you get unlimited replay access to this, so you can watch it back as long as you want at your own comfort. And the replay is going to be going out within a couple of days. So if you missed anything, you can always tune back in. So the energy of this, you know, normally people are still watching the footage for at least a couple of months afterwards. So the energy and information is going to keep going out. And then, of course, in about 6-7 months, we're going to start releasing some of the footage out onto other platforms too. And that's what I love about doing these. I love doing the panels at the end, like broadcasting for free online, because we get to tap into another energy. But then I also love the fact that we have all this footage that we end up releasing as well. Eventually goes on the podcast. You know, tens of thousands of more people besides who are on here right now get to be a part of it. So this energy that we've cultivated here isn't just for this moment. It's going to be rippling for months and years to come, even just the content and what we've all shared here today.
But I want to say also the acknowledgement of, Marina and your acknowledgement to me and all that. I feel so much more like a family, that we are part of something and we're connected to each other in deeper ways. I don't know, just that feeling of that, where we're all in this together, guys.
Mhm.
We are. So thanks to everyone. I really appreciate it. Again, to all of our speakers, I'll be sending out little tokens of my appreciation. And Neil, I have something for you. And that's why I wanted to talk to you after this, so that I can want to make sure it's just the right thing. So I really appreciate everyone's support, and thank you all for being here.
Thanks.
Mm.
And
Thank
I
you.
guess if we're closing out, I'll just close out with some poetry here. Any
Yes.
final words, Alan, anybody?
Well, just the next big conference coming up is
I guess we could just show a couple of things real quick, right?
just a couple of things, and then
Right.
some poetry. And thank you all again for hanging in there. And Richard, welcome to the family. Got a whole new bunch of colleagues here, and Jason and Bridget and Devi, thanks for hanging in there. And what are we seeing here,
All
Neil?
right. So just to let everybody know, I'm going to be on the Wish Alliance presenting on hybrid science, terminology, and the history of hybrids in ancient scriptures. That's going to be on Thursday. That's a free event. We're also going to be live on YouTube. So if you're on New Realities, Portal to Ascension, go ahead and subscribe. And then I was going to do this last year, which was only a few weeks ago, but I have shifted the date because the information that I've gathered on Pythagoras is freaking insane. The amount of stuff that I've uncovered, and the mystery schools that he was a part of, and where he learned all of his information, and how he was initiated into so many different religions. This is going to be the truth, the life, the times of Pythagoras. Everything from why he was a vegan, to why he didn't like beans, to why how he remembered 4 of his past lives and what they were, and the different places he went in the world and understood the mystery schools there. And then we have William Henry, Eden Restored, on Sunday. Also doing a panel with Laura Eisenhower on that same day. And let's just go to a webinar here. The next large scale conference, for everybody who's in the YouTube, I've pinned the Beyond UFO Disclosure Conference. We're at 800 registered in 24 hours. So if you want to be a part of this event, it's pinned in the comment section. Go ahead and register there. And then besides that, the next large scale conference I'm doing is February 19th, the Sumerian and the Mesopotamia online conference. We're going to go deep for 10 hours straight with the panel at the end on the truth of the Sumerians, going through the scriptures, going through Mesopotamia, and also the timeline of our history. And a lot of you probably know about the Anunnaki story that comes from there too. So we're going to be dissecting that as well. And the day after that is the Kamara Jones herself. So this is just what's coming up in the next.
And Kamara is one of the finest ET artists I've ever seen. She is communicating light language through those drawings, right? Marina, do you agree? Have you seen her work? And
I agree 100%. Her work is not just art, it's science. It holds so much consciousness.
yeah, great way of putting it. And it's communication, and it's like input into the higher mind. So anyway,
Art Soldier 77
so
on Instagram.
Art Soldier 77 on Instagram.
Where it's really cool.
Yes, and
She's amazing.
And just the people that are here, all have their private things they offer, and get Richard's book, Starseed Revolution, right? The Awakening.
You got it right, Alan.
I know. I've been practicing this, Richard. And I hope your wife doesn't mind you have a new family you're gathering with, right?
Oh, no, I think she's actually quite happy about it at this point in time.
Okay.
That's so
Oh,
And Jason, we might just show up at Disney World one day. You never know.
Sounds like fun.
So, Neo, you're going to leave us with, don't leave us. Are you going to leave us with a poem, though?
Yeah, let's do it.
Wait, Sheila, any final words from you? Are you happy? I just want to make sure you're.
My heart's overflowing. Thank you.
It's been amazing.
Thank you.
You guys
Thank
did
you.
such a beautiful job.
Thank you. And just again, for everybody who's on YouTube and whoever is on the chat room, go to wishalliance.com. Oh, is it .org?
.org.
.org, wishalliance.com, and go ahead and sign up there to be a part of the community that has been cultivated around these 3 events that we do with Sheila every year, which is the Walk-ins Conference, the Hybrids Conference, and the Starseed Summit. So you can sign up there. There's weekly meetings, and I think there's another Monday once a month, I believe, or might be more than that.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Mondays and Thursdays. Yeah. Wishalliance.org.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's been a great partnership with the 3 of us, kind of combining our resources like that. So
and it's the support, like if it could come down to 2 things that I feel I need in my life, and then I'm having conversations with others that they need, is support and connection, and that's what the Wish Alliance really provides, I feel.
Community, yes, to try out new ideas. If you have some out there idea and you want to try it out on some people, go to Wish.
Give us a call.
Definitely.
All right.
Okay.
So I'm just going to do 3 verses here, and start with one that I've done a few times, but this is the 6th sun, just because it's the 6th sun, guys. So let's talk about it for a second. And then I'm going to do Days of Old, and then we're going to end with Rejoin the Galactic Federation. I think that's a good way to close it out. The 6th sun has risen. We're now in the 6th world, spread for years by our human peers. The 6th sun has risen. We're now in the 6th world, spread for years by our human peers. The 6th sun has risen. We're now in the 6th world, passed down for years by our human peers through oral tradition. Information about our collective mission, what a new reality would envision. Spoken through Toltec and Aztec wisdom, we discuss and perceive larger cycles of time than even the Maya depicted. It was known we're in a transition that started in 1991 as we move from the 5th to the 6th sun. What are we waiting for? What have we waited for? These wars will stop. The sunspots increase in diameter and frequency. As the frequency of this planetary body shifts and changes, so does the neural networks within our brains, kids, adults, animals, family. We've been blinded, you see, to the vibratory energy that the universe breathes. In the last of the 9 hells, exiting the solar plexus, humans unable to think for themselves, we're at a nexus point. A decision shall anoint. The sun god I point out is the Son of God that resurrects and reflects over water, including the 2nd ocean known as space, where the cosmic rays during this transitory phase will encase and wash over our solar system. And in the skies, we may see both stars become one as we enter the 6th sun. The 6th sun has risen. We're now in the 6th world, spread for years by our human peers. Days of Old. Touch heaven, skies 11, dreading the black sun's position, starts to enlist all men and women into an army of darkness. The mission? To create a prison planet that envisions lack. Victimhood never listened. The water drop in the sunlight glistens. Enter the prism, the vortex where time doesn't exist yet. Colors bombarding, creating friction, perplexed activity in my cerebral cortex. The question, could it be more complex? So vexed. Experiences? Don't worry. There'll be more in the next life cycle. I recite all mantras and chants, breathe tantrically, lungs collapse, open all nerve cell synapse to receive the codes, archaic as Morse code, radio waves and gamma waves, the secret societies know and have technology to go interstellar out of this world, raid the facilities, acquire the technology in stealth mode, take what belongs to humanity, pack the van with a full load, light speed down the road, here to disclose all aspects of reality that will make our souls grow. Resistance is futile. The earth is still fertile. The truth will drive the masses wild, but I still have a smile as the rabbit hole is deep. The answers that we seek, the questions beneath the construct of society, it's humanity's time to evolve as we enter the days of old. And now it's time to rejoin the Galactic Federation. Life untangled, rhyme is undone. Life source drain, vanity explain, following those with fame, always fight and complain. Answer remains the same. Control with borders and tamed, locked up and enslaved, riding the quantum wave. Through awareness, we are saved. Ascend and fade away and live for today, and don't play games or get erased from this place. One face, unity of race, consciousness explained, end of human reigns. Galactic alliance remains, our true cosmic place amongst the stars in space. Aware now in case reincarnation takes my next life away. So ascend and pray, not for monetary gains, but an escape for superficial ways. Life is just a phase that will one day be replaced by pure energy and an entirely new intergalactic race.
I feel like we should.
That's right.
We're walking into that, Neil. We're walking into the intergalactic race. That's what we are. We're just waking up to what we are.
You have so much beauty in store for us. So much experiences to be had, you know, as we reconnect to who we are and to the rest of the cosmos. And I'm excited for it.
Right. And when we raise that frequency, those shining beings that have been waiting for us to shine will meet us, you know, as we rise out of the muck that has kept humanity enslaved. And so we are waking up to who we are. And
we're waking up. On that note, we're doing a live conference, everybody, in San Diego, where Sheila will be there as well. Alan's gonna be there. Portal to Ascension Conference is going live again. It's our first in-person event in 2 years, and it's gonna be in San Diego, California, next to SeaWorld, October 7th, 8th, and 9th. And the theme is Humanity Awakens, and it's gonna be like phenomenal 3 days of epicness with post-conference workshops. So I'm just throwing that out there because I need to tell everybody in every moment I get to try to make some plans to come to San Diego in this October, because it's going to be really beautiful. And if anything, if you're like, oh, I get all this information online, just realize that you're going to get like at least 100 hugs probably over that 3 days. It's like, I should call it like the hug festival, because I feel we all need to get a lot of hugs. And that's why I'm creating this event. I want to hug a lot of people. So if you guys want to come and connect with everybody, please do.
But also when we not just hugging, but when we're connected like that physically, I think we can really raise the vibration even more. You know, there's
definitely.
That's
we're
why
gonna
I
have
think
breakout groups. We're gonna have networking groups. Foster Gamble's gonna be there. He's gonna do a whole post-conference workshop on creating a new society. Like, it's just gonna be next level connection and networking and planning for practical change on this planet. And so please, if anybody can join us, you know, come down to San Diego. We'll also be doing it live streamed as well.
Well, before Zoom, people used to actually meet in person. I remember that, you know.
I have a bad long-term memory, so all I remember is Zoom.
Me too.
I've been telling people, like, I feel like I'm becoming a digital version of myself because I'm on Zoom so often.
Right.
So now I'm down in Mexico though. I'm getting to like go to live events again, and it's
good.
really fulfilling. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be great to just connect physically and, you know, increase the vibrations. And anyway, I think we're here for some great adventures. I think, you know, as we come out of this, some new avenues open up to more inspiration, more art, more creativity, more love. So thanks again, everyone, for making this a sweet gathering.
Thank you. Let's how about before we close out officially, let's just all take 3 breaths together, and then that's it right there. Okay, so let's just all just get comfortable right now. Just relax. Just breathe normally in this moment here, just for a few breath cycles. Just breathe normally. Everybody that's tuning in on all the platforms, and then go ahead and close your eyes. Let's all close our eyes together if you feel compelled to. And on the next inhale, take a deep breath in and exhale out. Deep breath in. Deep breath in. Thank you all.
So
Love
be
you guys.
it. So be it.
Thank
So
you.
be it. Yes.
Thank you all.
Have a beautiful
Everyone.
night, everyone.
Good
Have a great
night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good
Much love.
night.
Night.
Deep appreciation.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for spreading the love, and everyone online and in the chat. And Leanne. See you guys.
Bye, everybody.